Welcome to Whitlock Garage. We're united by trucks. Today, we're at the Hooks Detailing grand opening in Cedartown, Georgia. We're here with Zach. He's gonna be working his magic on the 79 Cream Puff of a Bonanza Big 10. I'm on some back roads leaving Canton. I just picked up Cream Puff from John at the truck farm. Unfortunately, he got called into work this morning, so he had to go in. He's not with me, but we've got Cream Puff and we're taking it to Cedartown, Georgia, to my hometown, back really to where I grew up, in the area that I grew up, around a house that I grew up. My buddy Zach Zimmerman has his own detailing shop. They do high-end stuff. They do everyday washes. They do paint corrections, buff and compound polishing, and they do the he does the full-blown deal. So he's having a big grand opening today. We're super excited about that. He's got a new shop just right down the street from his home shop where he started this business, and we're going to be doing a little work on Cream Puff. There's going to be a lot of people around today. This is his grand opening, but he's going to be showing us and some of the other folks who are going to be there how to do paint correction, especially on an older vehicle with an old repaint, and how you can bring this paint back to life. So we're going to be bringing this celebration to you. Zach is, like I said, a super talented guy, and he's had a big influence on me, as I've mentioned in the past. He gave me my first ride in a C10. He had an 87 dark navy short bed slam with some 15-inch torque thrusts on it back in the day, and man, it was one of the coolest trucks around. But my dad, his dad are best friends. They used to take us to car shows, mini trucking shows, all sorts of stuff back in the day before I even really got into classics. But like I said, Zach was one of the guys that got me into classic trucks, gave me my first ride in a C10, and here we are, 18 years later. So yeah, we're heading over to Hooks Detailing. Y'all stay tuned. I'll show you what we're working with. This is Zach Zimmerman, the owner of Hooks Detailing, one of my lifelong friends. We're here at his grand opening today. And Zach, give us a little idea of what you do here at Hooks Detailing.
We try to cover all the bases, anything from wash jobs to full wet sand, paint corrections, ceramic coatings. We do bikes and razors and boats. And if you can bring it in, I can probably clean it.
But not only clean it, you can bring stuff back to life. Like, you can take something, particularly like this old 79 truck here, and bring it back to life and make the paint almost look new again. How do you go about doing something like that?
Depends on vehicle, paint condition. We start with the least aggressive method to get the results and work our way back from there. If it needs more, it needs more, and just whatever it takes to make sure it's right. Heck
yeah, man. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started on this truck? We'll show you guys what it takes to bring one of these trucks back to life. All right, guys, so y'all know we brought Cream Puff here to Hooks Detailing for the grand opening, and Zach is actually just going to try a spot out, see how it looks here for the moment. Zach, what are you using right here?
I've got my go-to. It's a Flex 3401 dual action polisher. I've got a Lake Country foamed wool pad for some cut, and we're going to start kind of mild with a 3D1. It's a hybrid compound and polish. It's not super aggressive. We're just going to try to get some oxidation off and see what happens.
Sweet, let's do it. Man, I hope this is coming through on camera, but just that little spot right there. I'm right on Zach's light, but man, you can see the difference from there to there. Yep. What do you think about it?
It's a little too aggressive on that first cut. Got a little micro marring, so we're going to back up and try a little less aggressive approach with a foam pad.
Now, what do you mean by marring?
See how in the light reflection you can see what looks like spider webs in the paint?
Yep.
That is left over from the foam wool cutting pad that I was using. It's this has a fairly aggressive cut to get rid of the oxidation.
Yep.
But this older paint is fairly soft, so it's leaving the micro marring, which shows up as swirl marks in the paint. So we're going to swap to a little less aggressive foam pad and see if we can get the marring out. Alright, so what we've got there is that's not micro marring. That is actually marks in the original paint, and we weren't quite heavy enough with our first cut, I think. That's what I was thinking. So we may have to go back to a little more aggressive with a wool pad and a heavier cut compound.
I'm gonna freak out. If I brought it home looking like that,
Well, you can really tell from back here how it's starting to shape up.
That's getting better. We may not be able to get all of that out without wet sand.
Yeah. Which is the nature of the beast.
Yep, it is. You never know what you've got until you get started. So.
Well, any improvement on this truck is going to be just that, an improvement. You never know what's going to show up at Hook's Detailing, especially at his grand opening. So we've got Adam here with his 86 K10. Adam, man, appreciate you taking the time to tell us a little bit about this truck. Yep. Tell us what we're looking at today, man.
Well, this is my 86 K10. I bought this thing about a year ago. It was a yard ornament. It was a good looking truck, but it didn't. The motor was blown in it. The transmission was incorrect and gone.
Yeah.
Rear end was gone. All the hubs were warped. The axles were bad. At the time, I was still a student at GNTC up here as a auto tech student.
Yeah.
So I brought it into the schoolhouse up there, and we replaced the motor with a crate motor from Summit, and put a new 700 R4 transmission in
Sweet.
it. Rebuilt the front end, rear ends, put new brakes all the way around all the hub, all the trim pieces that were missing, a lot of interior pieces, the stereo system. I mean, went through the wiring, everything on this truck, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it did. And really the thing is, I was walking across the parking lot here just a minute ago. I'd actually seen this on Zach's Instagram, but it caught my eye, and I bet you can guess what caught my eye, and it's the color combination.
Absolutely.
So what did you do to the paint, or did you repaint the truck, or what did you do to it?
Believe it or not, I did not touch the paint. It looked rough.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I got it, it had been sitting in somebody's yard for I don't know how many years, but the paint looked a little rough on it. We checked, it is the factory color combo, so I wanted to try to preserve as much of that as I could. So I brought it out here to Zach, and Zach really, he really went to town wet sanding it and cutting it and buffing it, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it was.
Oh man, it turned out great. Like I said, the color combination is just really, really cool, and it's got a perfect stance. What else would you like viewers to know about this truck?
Other than the fact that it's for sale, I'm done with it. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
Before I develop a sentimental attachment to it.
Understand.
Time to go ahead and let it move on down to the road to its next loving owner, and time for me to get started on something else.
Absolutely. Well, if you decide you want us to drop the number in, we'll drop your number in for folks to view it, and
sure.
reach out to you if they're interested in buying it. So thanks for talking with us today, man. I really appreciate it.
Flinging the rest of the water out of it.
It's a pretty sweet little trick.
Let's see if we can get some cut on it. This is a different compounding pad. I'm going to step away from the wool and try a heavy cut foam pad and see how much of the imperfections we can get out this way. This is actually a little more aggressive than the foam pad is.
Sweet.
You can actually see the oxidation coming off of that.
Yeah,
it's working.
No doubt.
It's still got a little bit of spider webbing in it, but it's just in that old paint.
Dude, it's amazing how much improvement it is, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some scratches and imperfections in this paint, and Zach's just trying a little spot of wet sand. He is definitely not wet sanding this whole truck today, but just trying it out to see if that'll bring some of those imperfections out of the paint. Obviously you can see some of that top layer of paint coming off and dripping down. It's kind of cool. So you can see how that surface has already changed. You can see all the light scratching.
There it is.
Wet sanding helps everything, right? Good Lord. Man. Yeah, huge difference.
This is a progression through the wet sanding process. We're removing some pretty heavy orange peel texture out of this 20-year-old paint. You can see this is untouched. This is sanded with 1000 grit. This is sanded with 1000 and 1500. This is finished on out to 2000. And then right here has been worked with 2500 and compounded out.
Man. So you said this paint job, or this car was painted 20 years ago.
Yep.
Disassembled, or it was disassembled, then painted, and then brought to you to then bring it back to life.
Yep.
So you've gone through the steps of wet sanding it, you know, in those 3 or 4 different stages, using different grits to bring it back to life.
Compound started getting everything compounded out, and then once everything's compounded, we'll be able to do a final polish and a couple of coats of sealant to keep it looking good.
All right, so we got Brian out here cooking some hot dogs.
It's going down.
How many hot dogs have you cooked today?
120 so far.
Golly.
We got about 120 more.
Man, this is a heck of a celebration right here, isn't it?
It's going to be a good time.
Appreciate you cooking us some hot dogs, man.
So on this truck, we're dealing with a older, probably low budget single stage paint job. That's pretty weather checked. It's got some cracking in the paint, so we're not going to really chase perfection on this one. That would involve a pretty extensive wet sanding. So what we're going to do on this one is give it a light cut and knock the oxidation off the paint to get some shine and gloss back to it. So it well, it looks got a little more eye candy when it's rolling down the road.
So what are you cutting it with?
I've actually back off a little bit on this one. I've stepped back to the wool pad in a medium cut compound, just so we can one pass it and get all the oxidation off in one good cut.
What brand compound are you using?
This is the 3D1 compound.
Sweet. Ready when you are.
All right. We're on the home stretch. Got it compounded out, got all the dead paint and oxidation off. Now we're stepping down to a polishing pad and some HD speed. This is what they call an all-in-one. It's a polish that's got a Montane wax sealant in it. It's normally good for 6 months or so. Has good water beating properties, good paint protection, brings out a nice deep gloss. Super easy to work with, so we like that too.
Heck yeah.
Looks a lot different than it. Let's get, and I mean, this is still not anywhere near perfect, but all the dead paint's gone, so it's shining now. feel from 20 feet away, you're like, man, that's a really nice truck.
Goodness.
Damn, that looks good, Jake.
What's a heck of a change right there.
Oh, that doesn't even look like the same truck that drove in that south.
Cleaned up a little bit.
It cleaned up pretty good.
See, that the lighting I use in there shows more stuff than you can see outside.
What do you think about it, John?
Oh, it looks good. I could tell when you pulled in up there.
I had to stop because all my GoPros were dead, and so I had to get out the big camera. But man,
Shined up the wheels. And
oh yeah, yeah. So you can come and see. So they cut the whole truck, and then they went back and did the all-in-one, which put like this protectant sealant on it. But there's a section right about here to right about here, and you'll be able to see it, you know, earlier in this video, that where they wet sanded it. And so when you get it in the right light, you can really see a difference in some of that weathering and checking in the paint. It's almost like an old guitar a little bit. How that lacquer would weather and check a little bit. It's kind of crazy seeing it under all the lights, but man, doesn't this thing look good?
It does.
But I got to show you some pictures of some of the ones that he's, or the 71 Cougar that he's working on doing a full wet sand on right now.
That thing looks good.
Do you dig it?
I do. I knew it was gonna look good, but wow.
But that orange, wow.
That
Well,
thing really
red.
pops.
Yeah. I mean, it really
You can
does.
call it red if you want to, but
It's orange. That's right. It is so orange. Daddy was like, because Daddy was there with me too, he was like, you better get John's reaction. You got to get some footage when you pull up.
Man, it's good.
It looks awesome. Cream Puff got a little love today. All right, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Obviously, Zach at Hooks Detailing threw some paint correction tips at you, threw some products at you that he uses, showed you what buffer that he uses and polisher he uses. So he is a wealth of information. We'll definitely be going back and doing some more videos with him. But he made Cream Puff shine like a diamond in the rough. I mean, this thing looks amazing. I know John is super thrilled. Really wish he would have been able to be there to see it, but he's gonna get to see it with you all in this video. So thanks for tuning in to Whitlock Garage. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Definitely leave us a like by smashing that thumbs up button below the screen, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the job that Zach from Hooks Detailing did on Cream Puff. Man, this thing turned out awesome, and we'll catch you next time on Whitlock Garage.
Cue the music.